For 5 years straight, they accidentally forgot my birthday. No calls, no cake, nothing. This time, I brought cake anyway. My sister opened the door, looked at me, and said, "Sorry, you have the wrong house," then closed it without another word. Hours later, Mom texted, "We told her fiancé you don't exist. We couldn't let him see you." I replied, "Understood." I froze their accounts, blocked the wedding funds, and mailed her fiancé a. The cake box was heavy in my hands, but not as heavy as the pit sitting in my stomach. I stood at my sister's doorstep, breath clouding in the cold air, heart thudding like I just run a marathon. Chocolate frosted, custom-made, with my name written in gold. 32 candles. A birthday I didn't even want to celebrate anymore, but I brought it anyway, just in case. My palms were sweating. Ridiculous. I knew what was coming. I'd known for 5 years. 5 years. Not a single call. Not a text. Not even a lazy happy birthday on Facebook. Nothing but silence, deliberate, suffocating silence. And yet, every December 9th, like clockwork, I'd check my phone. I'd make excuses. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they forgot again. Maybe next year. But not this time. This year, I brought the cake. I showed up. The door opened. My sister stood there in her cream sweater dress, holding a wine glass, looking like she'd seen a ghost. Her eyes flicked to the cake, then back to my face. She blinked. "Sorry, you have the wrong house." Then she closed the door. Just like that. No explanation. No shame. Just a door in my face. I stood there another second. 2. I almost laughed, almost. Instead, I turned around and walked back to my car, heart pounding harder than before. I hadn't even made it off her street when my phone buzzed. It was Mom. One text. One sentence. "We told her fiancé you don't exist. We couldn't let him see you." I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the cake. I replied with 2 words. "Understood." Then I pulled over, logged into the shared wedding account, and froze it. Blocked every fund transfer, flagged every transaction. They wanted me invisible? Fine. Then they wouldn't see this coming either. And just to be thorough, I mailed her fiancé a letter, along with something else. Something they really didn't want him to see. My name's Caleb. 32. The weird one in the family. The one they don't introduce at parties. Not because I'm dangerous. Not because I've done anything unforgivable. But because I didn't play along. I was the kid who refused to pretend Dad screaming was normal. Who didn't laugh when Uncle Rick made jokes about gay people. The one who turned down business school, despite the scholarship, because I didn't want to sell my soul to their legacy firm. I became a freelance developer instead. Built a 6-figure business from my laptop. Quietly. Alone. And they hated that. Not because I failed, but because I succeeded without them. Because I didn't need them. And worst of all, because I stopped pretending they were good people. It started with birthdays. First year, they forgot. "Oh, we thought we texted you." Second year, "Didn't you say you weren't doing anything?" Third year, "It's just a day, Caleb. Don't be dramatic." By year 5, I stopped expecting. I didn't even open social media on my birthday. I just worked, ate cheap sushi, and waited for the guilt storm that never came. Meanwhile, my sister Eva got a full-blown catered brunch for her half-birthday. Custom invitations, champagne tower, even a string quartet. When I asked Mom if she remembered what day it was, she blinked and said, "Oh honey, was that today?" She wasn't joking. What really cut deep was not the forgetting. It was the coordination. The way they circled around Eva like she was the sun. The way they edited me out of photos, family updates, vacation plans. "It's just easier that way," Dad once said when I asked why I wasn't invited to a cousin's wedding. Easier. They were so good at pretending I didn't exist, they started doing it full-time. Eva got engaged last year. A big diamond from some finance bro named Lucas. Real charmer. Looked like he stepped out of a Rolex ad. I sent her a message when I saw the post. "Congrats. Happy for you." She never replied. But I still helped. Quietly. Because even when they shut me out, I kept being the responsible one. The invisible bank account. The family ghost. They had no idea that 40% of their wedding fund came from me. I'd set it up months ago, when Mom hinted they were a little short for venue deposits. I didn't do it for thanks. I did it because I knew how they operated. They wanted big, glossy optics. They wanted to look like the perfect family. And I was willing to fund the lie if it meant they'd at least stop guilt-tripping me for being cold and distant. But when she closed that door and Mom texted what she did, "We told her fiancé you don't exist," that's when something inside me snapped like a live wire. They erased me to save face. They rewrote history for strangers. They looked me in the eye and said I didn't matter. But I matter now. I didn't just freeze the wedding funds. I went into the shared planning account I had back-end access to and started unspooling the thread. Emails. Transactions. Every receipt that proved I'd been paying for things under anonymous family donations. Every vendor tag to my credit card. Even the florist had my initials on the ledger. Then I opened a second folder. Screenshots. Messages Eva didn't know I had. From last summer, when she sent a panicked midnight text asking me to loan her $4,000 because she accidentally opened a credit card in Lucas's name to cover rent. I paid it. On one condition, she'd tell him eventually. She promised. She never did. So I packaged it all up. One neat PDF file. Labeled it. A few things Lucas might want to know before the wedding. Then I added a photo. One from last Thanksgiving. They told me not to come. Said the family was keeping it small this year. Funny. A friend of mine, who was dating my cousin, sent me a group pic later that night. Everyone was there. Laughing, drinking wine, Eva on Lucas's lap, Mom's arms around them both. And in the corner of the photo, taped to the fridge, a printed-out copy of my old Instagram photo, with the words "Do not mention" scribbled across it in Sharpie. So yeah, I mailed Lucas the file, tracked shipping, and waited. He called me at 2:13 a.m. His first words were, "Tell me everything." I didn't recognize the number. The kind that pops up in the middle of the night and makes your heart thump in dread. I was lying in bed, laptop still warm on my legs, half scrolling, half hoping I could sleep through my birthday without any more humiliations. I picked up. "This is Lucas," the voice said. Calm. Too calm. Like someone standing in the wreckage of something that used to be beautiful. Eva's fiancé. My spine straightened. "Hey." Long pause. Then he said, "I got the envelope." Another pause. Then, "I just want to know how much of it is true." I didn't answer right away. I didn't need to. He already knew. "Everything," I said eventually. "Every screenshot, every receipt, every silence, they're all yours." I figured. Then he exhaled, like the air was finally pushing its way back into his lungs. "Can we meet?" We sat across from each other at a quiet coffee shop later that day. Lucas wasn't wearing his usual watch or designer jacket. Just a hoodie, faded jeans, and the look of a man who just walked away from a burning house. He didn't waste time. "She told me you were mentally unstable," he said. "Said you had a dark streak, that you were unpredictable, that you ghosted the family because of some vague trauma, and that you were jealous of her life." I didn't blink. I'd heard worse. "She said I shouldn't reach out to you," he added. "Said it would open old wounds." He looked up. "That envelope didn't look like old wounds. It looked like you were cleaning house." I slid a folder across the table. Inside was everything he hadn't seen yet. Email threads where I covered deposits under pseudonyms. A florist's note. Balance paid by CH, client requests discretion. The planner's invoice labeled anonymous donor. And the last page, Eva's emergency text from August. "Hey, can you wire $4,000? I screwed up. I'll explain later. Just don't tell Lucas. Please. I'm serious." He read every word, every line. Silent. Then he closed the folder slowly, fingers trembling just a bit. "She said you refused to come to the engagement dinner because you couldn't handle seeing her happy." I let out a dry chuckle. "She sent me the wrong date. I showed up a week early. Waited 45 minutes at the restaurant before the hostess told me the reservation was for next Friday." His jaw clenched. "She gaslit me for years," I added. "But that was when I realized it wasn't just negligence. It was control. She was crafting a reality where I didn't exist. And you were her latest prop." Lucas leaned back. "She told me her family was tight-knit, that you were distant because you'd always been selfish." I tapped the folder. Selfish enough to pay for half her wedding in secret? Selfish enough to clean up her financial messes and still stay silent for 5 years. He didn't answer, but he did something better. That evening, Lucas sent out a mass email to every wedding guest, over 180 people. Friends, family, vendors, even a few corporate names from his firm. Subject, wedding canceled, the truth. The body of the email? A concise, brutal explanation. This wedding is no longer happening. The reasons are personal, but they are rooted in deception, financial, emotional, and familial. I will not build a life on a lie. Please direct any inquiries to Eva's family, who can explain better than I ever could. Attached you'll find documentation. He attached my file. Receipts. Screenshots. The works. And suddenly, the family chat exploded. Within hours, I was getting texts from relatives I hadn't spoken to in years. "Dude, I had no idea. Caleb, I'm so sorry. That was messed up. They really told us you just ran off and didn't want contact. I didn't respond to most. Not out of spite. Just exhaustion. Then came the calls from Mom, from Eva, even from my aunt. But I didn't answer. Not yet. Until my phone lit up again. Mom. I let it go to voicemail. But then a second time. A third. And then the text came. You didn't have to go this far. You've destroyed us. Are you happy now? I stared at the screen. Then typed. No. I'm not happy. I'm just free. She replied almost immediately. We told Eva's fiancé what we had to. We were trying to protect the family. So I sent back one more. You erased me for optics. I exposed you for reality. That's when Dad showed up. I saw him on the security camera of my apartment building, outside, pacing furious. Slamming the buzzer. I picked up the intercom. Caleb, let me in, he barked. We need to talk. No, I said calmly. Your mother is in tears. Eva's not eating. She's humiliated. I didn't humiliate her. She humiliated herself. You just helped her keep the secret. You've always been vindictive. No, I cut in. I've always been quiet. You just didn't expect me to stop. He slammed his hand on the glass. You're not part of this family anymore. And I smiled, though he couldn't see it. Finally, I whispered. Some truth. He left. And for the first time in a long time, I slept through the night. They tried to move on like nothing happened, but I wasn't done yet. After Lucas sent that email, their world didn't just crack, it collapsed. The wedding was canceled. Venue payments non-refundable. Florist blasted them on Instagram for bounce checks. The caterer threatened small claims court. Eva's bridesmaid squad ghosted her so fast, it left a digital trail of broken group chats. But that was just the surface. Because Lucas? He didn't just walk. He detonated. Turns out, he wasn't just some finance bro with a nice jawline. He was connected. His family ran a mid-sized investment firm with fingers in half the wedding vendors' portfolios. When he withdrew, others followed. Within 72 hours, Eva's name became wedding industry kryptonite. And the calls began. Mom, we need to talk. I didn't reply. Dad, you've made your point. Come fix this. Fix what? Their fake perfect world? Their narcissistic theater production? No thanks. They tried to pivot, told relatives it was all a misunderstanding, that Lucas had overreacted, that I had twisted things. But it was too late. The paper trail spoke louder than their gaslighting ever could. Then came the real fallout. Remember that shared family account they used for wedding funds? I wasn't just an anonymous donor. I was the administrator. I froze access the moment Mom texted. We told him you don't exist. But now? I emptied it. Legally. Every dollar I put in, I pulled out. Everything else, blocked under financial dispute. Eva tried to claim it was theft. But the bank had receipts. Her name wasn't even on the primary account. The meltdown was biblical. They lost over $18,000. Couldn't pay the decorator. Had to refund guests who'd prepaid for destination arrangements. And still, they blamed me. Mom texted, "You're being cruel." Eva is heartbroken. I replied, "Heartbroken people apologize." She sent a cease and desist letter. Yup. Eva tried to sue me for defamation. Her fiancé left her. Her vendors blacklisted her. But apparently I was the villain for telling the truth. The letter was laughable. My lawyer, a friend from college who owed me a favor, read it, laughed, and replied with a forward response. Bring it. We're ready. She didn't. But you know who did contact me? Lucas's mother. She sent a handwritten letter on real stationery, thanking me. She said she'd always suspected something was off, but didn't know the depth of the lies until she read my file. Said I'd spared their family years of disaster. She also sent me a check, not a symbolic one, an actual check, $10,000. A gesture of respect, she wrote. Not pity, not charity, just a recognition that you didn't owe anyone a single thing and you still gave. I didn't cash it, but I framed it. As for my family, things unraveled fast. Dad lost a contract with one of Lucas's associates. Turns out, bad PR isn't great for business. His trusted circle of friends started distancing themselves. Mom tried to rebuild her community image, but it's hard when half your bridge group has seen the screenshots of you lying to your son for 5 years. And Eva? Oh, Eva crumbled. She posted a breakup announcement on social media with all the usual fluff. Sometimes people grow apart. It just wasn't the right time. Sending love to everyone. Comments were brutal. Someone posted, "Sis, He left you because your family lied about having a brother. Another wrote, "Where's the cake, though?" And then there was the Reddit thread. Yup, someone leaked the story to a relationship subreddit. It blew up. Over 20,000 upvotes. People called it the ultimate sibling revenge. One commenter wrote, "This is what happens when the family scapegoat stops playing nice." But here's the best part. A month after the explosion, I got a knock at my door. It was Eva. No makeup. Eyes puffy. Shoulders hunched. Holding a Tupperware container. "Mom made cake," she said. I raised an eyebrow. "And?" She said, "We owe you one. Thought, maybe we could talk." I didn't say anything. She added, "I messed up." Still silence. I believed them. "About you. About everything. I thought you were just angry for no reason." Her eyes filled with tears. "I let them erase you. And you still paid for my wedding." I looked at the container. Carrot cake. My least favorite. "I don't want the cake," I said. "I want the apology. And I want you to mean it." She nodded, shaky. "I'm sorry." I believed her. But I didn't let her in. Come back when you know how to build a relationship that isn't based on hiding me. Then I closed the door. Gently. Not like she did to me. Later that night, I tossed the cake in the trash. And poured myself a drink. Not to celebrate. But to exhale. Because for the first time in years, I wasn't angry. I wasn't wounded. I wasn't the invisible one standing at the edge of family photos. I was free. It's been 7 months. 7 months since I stood on Eva's porch holding a birthday cake I baked myself and got told I had the wrong house. 7 months since my own mother texted that I didn't exist. 7 months since I erased my guilt the same way they tried to erase me. People always say revenge is bittersweet. I disagree. It was clean. Necessary. Like pulling glass out of a wound after letting it fester for years. You don't cry about the pain. You're just relieved the poison's out. My family doesn't talk about me anymore. Not publicly. I know because a mutual friend from college told me they ran into Dad at a fundraiser. Someone asked about his kids, and he mentioned only one. My daughter, Eva. She's taking time to heal. No mention of me. As usual. But that's fine. Because I don't need their lies to prop up my truth anymore. I moved cities. Bought a small 2-bedroom house in the mountains. Remote, quiet, peaceful. No banners, no staged brunches, no whispering at the dinner table. Just me, my work, my dog, rescued mutt named Java, and silence I chose. And in that silence, I found clarity. I don't regret anything. Not the files I sent. Not the funds I froze. Not the truths I forced out of their closets like skeletons with teeth. If anything, I regret waiting as long as I did. You see, I spent years trying to earn something that should have been unconditional. Love, respect, recognition. I kept showing up, to birthdays, to funerals, to Sunday dinners, hoping that one day, they'd remember I was part of them. But I wasn't. I was a convenience. A bank account. A punching bag. A scapegoat for their own shame. And when I stopped playing that role, their world fell apart. Not because I destroyed it, but because I stopped holding it up. One morning last month, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside, a picture. It was me, at age 9, blowing out candles at a birthday party. Eva was beside me. Mom behind the cake. Dad holding a camcorder. All of them smiling. On the back, someone had written in shaky handwriting. "We lost something that day. Maybe it was you. Maybe it was us. I'm sorry. No signature. I didn't need one. I burned it in the fireplace. Not out of anger, but because that little boy didn't exist anymore. The one who kept trying to earn crumbs at a table where the seats were always assigned. I don't need a seat anymore. I built my own table. And people, real people, sit around it now. Friends who don't flinch when I mention my past. Colleagues who respect my work without asking about my bloodline. A partner I met 6 weeks ago who knows the whole story and didn't once say, maybe it wasn't that bad. Because it was that bad. And I'm done minimizing it. A few weeks ago, Eva emailed me. Just a subject line. "Do you hate me?" I didn't answer. Not because I hate her, but because hate requires investment. And I'm not investing in ghosts. I've forgiven them. Not for them, but for me. Because anger is heavy. And I'm building something too beautiful to carry dead weight. Last week, I celebrated my birthday for the first time in years. I invited friends. Made my own cake. Vanilla bourbon buttercream. Thank you very much. There were candles. Laughter. No one asked, "Where's your family?" Because they knew the answer. My family isn't the one I was born into. It's the one I created. And when I blew out those candles, I didn't wish for their love. Or their forgiveness. Or their sudden epiphany. I just wish for more days like this, where I exist, fully, loudly, unapologetically. Because the truth is, I was never the problem. I was just the mirror. And they couldn't stand their own reflection, so they tried to smash it. But I didn't shatter. I sharpened. And now? I don't disappear. I reclaimed myself fully.